joining us today. We're going to honor all of you who served as veterans and spouses and family members who also helped out during the war efforts. We all did our fair share of helping to make sure the country stayed strong. As we say the Pledge of Allegiance, we are remembering how strong our nation is. Do we all want to say a Pledge of Allegiance together? Mm-hmm. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And as you know, most of us have our pictures out there on the wall. I've got a few pictures yet to print and frame. So if you're not on the wall yet, you will be very soon. Our first veteran that we're going to recognize is Charlie. Charlie is not able to join us today, but he was a veteran during World War II, serving stateside as a Lynx Celestial Navigation Trainer Operator from 1942 until the war's end in 1945. One of Charlie's things that he had shared was that he was never able to fly a plane, but he always wished he could have, but because of poor vision, he was unable to. So I think it's always been one of his life dreams to be able to fly a plane. Our next is Robert Lorvik. He also is not able to join us today, but Bob served also during World War II in the Army Air Force. He was a waist gunner and a bombardier in the 397th Bomb Group, which flew over 20 missions. And Lady Luck aircraft was one of the flights which he flew on. He's very proud to be a veteran. Will, you are our next veteran. Will served in the Navy as a radio man, second class petty officer. Boot camp was at Farragut, is that how you pronounce it? Farragut, Idaho, just south of the Canadian border. Will was glad that he came from Minnesota as it was very cold there. Following boot camp, Will was stationed in Moscow, Idaho, to attend radio school and then off to Los Angeles, California for signal school. After his schooling, Will was stationed at Treasure Island Naval Base in California, previously the home of the World's Fair, in 1936. The SS Lurline was actually a luxury ship for citizens, but during the war, the ship was used by the Navy. Will made numerous trips on the SS Lurline from San Francisco to Hawaii, New Guinea, and New Zealand. On a few of these trips, they transported a prime minister and war brides and children who had been living in Australia. Towards the end of World War II, Will was stationed on a tugboat traveling to Seattle to pick up a dry dock and used for ship repairs. Ernie, you are our next veteran. Ernie served also during World War II in the Marine Corps as a staff sergeant from December of 1940 through November of 1945. Following boot camp in San Diego, California, Ernie was sent to Texas A&M University to study to be a radio man. However, he ended up working in radio maintenance instead. While stationed in a small village on the island of Samoa, yeah. Ernie picked up the local language as there were only 13 letters in their alphabet. After the Battle of Kwajalein, yeah. Ernie was shipped to some very small islands, followed by 14 months in the Marshall Islands. During a furlough, Ernie met Lorna. After the furlough, Ernie traveled around in a limousine, training and educating pilots on what they might expect when they went overseas with their 9-man cruise. Thank you for your service. Let's always remember courage. Above all, we must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of the world is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. It is a adversaries in today's world do not have. That was written by Ronald Reagan. Larry Torgrimson is our next veteran. Larry served as a Navy fireman. He volunteered for the draft in November of 1955. Larry attended 12 weeks of boot camp in the Great Lakes before his first post in New York on the USS Letty, which was en route to Cuba. While en route, Larry was transferred to the USS Saratoga aircraft for 12 weeks, followed by a new assignment in Norfolk, Virginia, and the Brooklyn Navy Yard for 3 months. Finally, Larry was en route to Norway on the North Atlantic cruise before his last assignment, which returned him to the New York Navy Yard. Stanley, you are our next veteran. Stanley served in the Army from 1961 to 1967, stationed in Vung Tau, is that close? Vietnam. Stanley held the rank of a sergeant in charge of 24 men. And I remember, Stanley, you had shared that that was a pretty big responsibility for a man your age. Dwayne, you are our next veteran. Dwayne served in the Army from 1948 through 1952. He was an artillery staff sergeant stationed in Germany. While on a ship heading over to Germany, he worked in the butcher shop, where he had lots of steaks to enjoy. Thank you. Marv, another one of our residents, served in the Navy as a radar man from 1960 to 1963. He was stationed on the USS Simmons, just off the coast of Cuba. Marv assisted in guarding the fenced-off area at the Bay of Pigs in its aftermath. Wow. Gerald, or Jerry Anderson as we know him, served in the Army during Vietnam. He was stationed in Da Nang, Vietnam. Consequently, he was also where my brother was stationed as well. Everett, another one of our gentlemen, served in the Navy for 23 years as an E-8 Chief Petty Officer, joining in 1948 and retiring in 1972.
Senior chief.
It's
a senior chief.
A senior chief, thank you. He attended boot camp in San Diego, California. One of the years that he was stationed in Vietnam, he was in charge of ammunitions in 40 bunkers. These bunkers were stacked on top of each other and placed inside of a hillside. And Everett always mentioned how scary it was that he's lucky nothing ever blew up there. As we honor the soldier and sailor everywhere who bravely bears his country's cause, honor also to the citizen who cares for his brother in the field and serves as he best can the same cause. From Abraham Lincoln. John Anderson, another one of our gentlemen, served during the Army, but he remained stateside during his time in the service. Russell Lund. Russell served in the Air Force as a staff sergeant during the Korean War. Boot camp was held in San Antonio, Texas, before he received orders to go to England. While stationed in England for 32 months, Russ met his first wife, who returned to him to the United States. Finally, Lucy. Lucy served in the Navy from 2009 to 2015, serving during Operation Iraqi Freedom, ranked as an E5, and I won't try to say the rest of it.
Operation Second Class Surface Warfare Air Warfare Specialist.
Spending time stationed in California in Norfolk, as well as being deployed to the Middle East. Lucy currently is using her GI Bill to complete her RN degree. So let's all thank our veterans, and for all their wonderful service, we salute you today.
Yay! Yay!
I also have some plaques for you. Will, thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
Ernie,
Thank you.
thank you for your service. Stanley, Thank you for your service. Dwayne, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And Lucy,
Oh, geez.
thank you. Lorna's got the sun in her eyes. And then Sherry, I believe you have some treats for us
We do.
in the bistro and stuff, but I really want to thank all of you for serving. It's,
Yes. Thank you so much.
it means the world to the rest of us that we can have our freedom.
Two more.